Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello there. Welcome to my class English Grammar Proficiency Meeting 1. I would like to say congratulations for those who have passed the previous Grammar 4 class, Advanced Grammar, and now you are going to see me again in English Grammar Proficiency class, which is the next stage after the Advanced Grammar class, because this is the prerequisite subject. And for this first meeting, I would like to explain about the introduction of our class. Okay, maybe you have a question. What is actually English Grammar Proficiency? So, English Grammar Proficiency is the ability to make judgment about the acceptability and appropriateness of an utterance with specific reference to grammatical notions. What does it mean? It means that when we produce language, especially in English, either it is in written form or in spoken form, we don't think hard to produce it because automatically we can produce the correct sentence. So that is called grammar proficiency. And what are we going to study in this semester? So the courses, first, of course, about the introduction. So when do we have grammar proficiency tests, especially for the international tests? We have TOEFL tests, we have IELTS tests, and we have TOEIC tests and other English proficiency tests. And then the second meeting, we will study about problematic verbs. Indonesian people have problems with verbs, right? So in the second meeting, we will deal with verbs and how we do the international grammar proficiency test on verbs problem. And then the third problem with nouns and pronouns. The fourth, problems with subject-verb agreement and inversions. And the fifth course is problem with passive. After studying 5 topics, we will have the first quiz. And then the seventh, we have problems with adjective and adverbs. And then problems with parallelism and comparison. Problem with clauses. And problem with reduced clauses. And then we have mid-test. And for the last part of the course, we have problem with gerunds and participle, problems with conjunctions, problems with preposition and articles, and problems with usage. And then at the 16th meeting, we will have the final exam. All of them are given online because this is a 100% online class. Well, having known the 16 courses in my class, Grammar Proficiency class, so maybe you have a question in your mind. Where or in which specific part is grammar tested in the English proficiency test? Usually we have PBT TOEFL or paper-based test TOEFL. So in the TOEFL, it is in section 2 that your grammar proficiency is tested or examined or evaluated. So it is called structure and written expression. So in this part, you're going to have 40 questions of grammar and you have to do it in only 25 minutes. And then we have also TOEFL CBT test. CBT stands for computer-based test. So this CBT TOEFL consists of 3 sections also. The first is listening, and then grammar, and then reading. So in the second section, structure and written expression, you will have to do around 20 questions of grammar. And the time allocation is about 15 minutes. And then we have TOEIC test. So in the TOEIC test, the grammar proficiency test is tested in the second part, that is the reading section. So here you will have around 100 questions of grammar that you need to do in the TOEIC test. And then the last the second last, we have IBT TOEFL, right? So IBT stands for internet-based test for TOEFL. Well, in this kind of EPT international test, we will have no grammar tests directly, but your production of English in writing section and in speaking section are actually evaluated by the grammar by the professor of English out there, yeah, in the United States, because TOEFL is based in the United States. So when we produce our paragraph, so the paragraph will be evaluated, and one of the score includes how you produce correct sentence in your writing. And also in speaking, when you record your speaking, so the professor there will evaluate your production, because your speaking is recorded, and then they will listen carefully, so how many grammar mistake you make in your speaking production. So that is the way how your grammar is evaluated through the writing and the speaking. And the last is IELTS. If TOEFL and TOEIC are designed by the Americans, so IELTS is actually designed by the British. So it is British English orientation. But the content of the tests are the same. It consists of reading, listening, writing, and speaking. And your grammar proficiency will be evaluated through your writing production and your speaking production. That's the way how your grammar proficiency is evaluated on those international EPT tests. Okay, so is it clear for you? So this is why you study grammar up to the 5th level. You have learned about basic grammar, you have learned about intermediate grammar, you have learned about advanced grammar, and then the last one is grammar proficiency. Proficient means professional. It includes 3 things there. So when you say proficient, meaning you really master the knowledge of grammar. And then the second, you have the skill in using the grammar, either it is in writing or in speaking. And the last one is guarantee. You can guarantee that your production is high quality. That is proficiency. Well, now maybe you have a question, a big question in your mind. When you do the test, let's say the TOEFL or the IELTS or the TOEIC, what about the text sources of these tests? So when you do the question, actually you can detect the type of the question and the source of the text. For example, when the text is taken from the world history or American history text, so you can suggest yourself that you are dealing with past tenses, because history are dealing with past action or past events. And then the text about the TOEFL or the grammar test are also taken some from branches of sciences. Let's say it is taken from the text of medical science or physics or chemistry or biology or literature or linguistic or economics. All of the branches of sciences, or a script or a text taken from encyclopedia text. So there you can detect that all the texts are referring to present tenses. So there is no past tense there in the text. The third source of text is taken from world or American famous figure short biography. When we deal with biography, of course, it deals with past tenses, and it will help you decide or focusing on the tenses used in the text. So this is really helpful actually. And the fourth sources are the world or American famous places, customs, culture. When we deal with customs or habit or culture, so we deal with present tenses, so we can ignore choices about past tenses. And then the fifth sources are about procedure text. When we deal with procedure text, so we deal with step-by-step process, right? So it is about commands. When commands are used, so we deal with present tenses. We can ignore past tenses choices. This is really helpful, actually, when you recognize the sources of the text. And the last source of the text are about world or American famous discoveries, inventions, technologies. So, of course, discovery, invention, and technologies are created in the past, right? Even though we are using it now, but the creation is happening in the past. So we deal with past tenses. So we can ignore present tenses for the choices. Well, I think that will be enough for our introduction today. For the summary, so first, you need to know the sources of the text when you are dealing with the English grammar proficiency test. And then I really hope that you have your own books of English proficiency tests, such as the TOEFL book or the TOEIC book or the IELTS book even. They are the same. Okay? Well, I think that will be enough for our first meeting. We will see next week. We will meet next week when we deal with our first problem, that is problems with verbs. Thank you for your attention. Goodbye. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.